Hi guys, Mr. Story. Today I want to talk about combining like terms. And remember, combining like terms is we're looking through an algebraic expression to find all of the things that are like, and then we're going to combine those. And our goal is to simplify these two expressions as much as we can by using this strategy. You might also hear this called adding like terms. It's kind of the same idea. Well, what we have to do is we have to look through our expression and we need to find like terms. Well, what I like to do is I'll go ahead and my very first term, no matter what it is, I'll put a blue box around it or a box. And what I'll do is I'll look through my expression for any other like terms. And remember, like terms means they normally share the same variable makeup. So they kind of look the same. So let's look through. That's plus 4y, minus 5, plus 2y. Notice that this term here, and notice I'm going to get the sign, the subtraction sign, in with the term so that I know that that's a negative 8x, all right? So if I look through, those are all my x terms, all right? Now I have the ability to switch my color of my marker here, so what I can do is my next unidentified term, I'll go ahead and put a circle around that. And what I'll do is I'll do the same thing. I'll look through my expression and see if I see anything that looks like positive 4y or plus 4y. Minus 5 doesn't. Ooh, notice this is plus 2y or positive 2y. Good. Now, just to be thorough here, we have this kind of term that's all by itself, and there's really nothing to be done with it yet. So let's kind of clean things up now. Now that we have our like terms identified, all we have to do is add them, essentially, or combine them. So let's do that. Let's start with negative 3x and negative 8x. If I do negative 3x plus negative 8x, that's going to go ahead and give me negative 11x. Now my y's. Positive 4y plus 2y. Well, that's 6y. Last but not least, I have this negative 5, and it doesn't combine with anything, but I need to make sure that it's in my answer. So what I'll do is I don't need to add anything for this. I'll just make sure I have it here at the end. So here are these simplified terms that are going to make up my answer to this. So now I just need to build an algebraic expression. Well, it's a matter of just kind of putting symbols where they belong. So we'll start with negative 11x. Now this is a positive 6y, so what we'll do is instead of just kind of leaving it blank, we'll write plus 6y. And what's nice about terms being negatives, we can actually trick ourselves into writing a subtraction sign. My final answer for this question would be negative 11x plus 6y minus 5. Okay, similar kind of strategy over here. Again, what I like to do is I'll put a box around my first term. Now I'll look for any other terms that are similar to this one or anything that can combine with it. Well, x and negative 7 won't go together. Oh, here's a negative 3. Those will go together, right? Because negative 3 plus negative 7 is negative 10. I can tell you a number that can represent both of those together. If I keep looking, I don't see anything else, so we're going to start back at the beginning. Again, I'm going to use a circle around my next term. Notice that's a positive x. To be thorough, maybe we want to draw the 1 in there. That way we remember that that's 1x. Well, let's look through and see if we see any x terms. Right here. Awesome. And if I look, no x, no x. Well, last but not least, again, to be thorough here, how about I underline my negative 7y? Do I see any other terms that are similar to negative 7y? Well, right next door, we have a negative 3y. So now I have all my terms identified. Now we just need to add them together. Now, let's start. I like to start with my first term. So negative 7 plus negative 3 will give me negative 10. There's those two terms combined. 1x, or positive 1x, plus 8x will give me 9x. And last but not least, we have our y. So negative 7y plus negative 3y. Notice I'm always adding. The terms, the signs stay with the terms, but notice I'm always adding because of this word, combine, right? When we combine things, we're adding. Negative 7 y plus negative 3y gives me negative 10y. We're now ready to write our final answer, so let's do that. Negative 10, this is a positive 9x, so I'll write plus 9x minus 10y, or negative 10y. Now, one thing I didn't point out in my first example, this is our final answer, and that's a correct answer. Notice you're also allowed to switch these terms around as long as the sign of the term stays with it. So for example, what I could do is I could actually do 9x first, so that's still positive 9x. But if I'm going to move this negative 10, I need to make sure that it's still negative when I move it. So minus 10, and of course minus 10y. Notice how I move things around there, but notice my terms still have the same positive or negative sign. I'm allowed to do that. Let's just do one more just for fun. What if I wanted to put the negative 10y in front? Well, it has to be negative 10y. My 9x has to be positive, so plus 9x. And the only term I'm missing is my minus 10, so go ahead and slap that on the end. And there's actually a bunch of different ways that you could rearrange this stuff. So sometimes when you're checking answer keys, yours might not match exactly the order of the answer key. But again, just make sure that your signs of your terms are matching the answers. That was a quick overview of combining like terms. I hope you're all doing well. I'll talk to you in the next one.